Now, if there was a Mr. Huddersfield competition, who do you think would win it? Harold Wilson, the former Prime Minister? Good shout. Ray Wilson, the World Cup winner? Another good shout. What about Patrick Stewart, who went from here to the final frontier? Other contenders could be, I don't know, Darren Gough, Roy Castle, Frank Worthington even. All good shouts. But what about this? Here's a good contender for you. A man who scored a Premiership hat-trick and helped Huddersfield Town to 2 playoff wins, scoring more than 100 goals along the way for his hometown club. Andy Boothy, legend. Give me some words to describe Mr. Booth.
Mr. Huddersfield Town.
Tremendous professional.
He's loyal.
Honest.
He's a natural goal scorer.
He's a good role model really for the young'uns. One of the all-time top goal scorers.
Good lad. Easy going.
He's got a good touch.
All-round good egg.
He's a legend.
As a young lad, when you first started kicking the ball about and getting interested in football, did you straight away take to it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I always wanted to play football. I think probably every lad in the world wants to play football, and yeah, just at a young age, I just love the game, and just never without a football. Always had to take my football with me, and I just always wanted to play football.
When did you first know of him, or meet him, or see him play?
Well, Andy played locally in the local league, junior football. My son was playing local football then, so obviously we come across Andy quite a lot. But I also played in the same team as his dad, and I knew the family very well.
Really? So the paths of the Murphys and the Booths go back quite a while?
They certainly do, yeah.
First recollection I've got, I was a schoolboy. I was like 17, and we had a practice match, and we played against the associate schoolboys, and Andrew, being a bit younger, played. And he was only a small lad, and we had a corner, and I thought there's a ball came in, perfect for me, I'm going to score. This lad about 5 foot beat me in the air, and like I was a decent size, and I followed through the header and I caught him smack on his eye, and his eye ballooned, and that's my first ever. Well, I've never beaten him in the air, put it that way, even from the age of 17 onwards.
So you headbutted him on your first occasion?
That was my first time I can recall meeting him.
You've been friends ever since?
Well, yeah, acquaintances.
Had you excelled enough at school level to immediately be spotted by clubs?
I'd play for West Yorkshire, and I was in the Huddersfield schools team, and there were clubs there wanting me. More at lower division really. Huddersfield took a little bit of interest, but not much in the early days.
So I'd watched Andy over a period of time. He was fairly small at the time, but he had a great spring in his heel, and he was a great competitor. You could see then he was a winner. So I decided that I would go up and sign him. So I went up one Saturday lunchtime to his house. As I said, I knew his family well, and signed Andy. And that's when a bit of luck played its part, because on the Monday Andy was set to go to Scarborough.
I was due to sign at Scarborough, and the day before, Jenny Murphy came up to my house and wanted me to sign for Huddersfield, which it came out of the blue really, because I'd been training a while at Scarborough and before that Huddersfield, but they said they'd have too many schoolboys, so they must have found out that I was training at Scarborough and then took a gamble on me as a schoolboy.
Now, the best goal you think you've scored here, I think probably common consent is that you scored here, was against Rotherham.
Yep.
I think it was a quick free kick taken.
Paul Reed met it.
Paul Reed, so I'll be Reedy.
Right, and yep.
So Reedy's somewhere here, is he?
Yeah, just. So
he wins the header.
It's gone. Just like I remember it, right foot straight into that top corner. When the keepers dive and they don't get anywhere near it.
Giving it everything, it still can't get there.
Yep.
Now, Andy made just a handful of appearances in his first 2 seasons as a professional here at Huddersfield. But from 1993 to 96, he had 3 golden years. Boothy scored nearly 60 goals in 3 seasons. Prolific by anybody's standards. And you established yourself pretty well over that first 2 seasons. I mean, you played, I think, about 8-10 games in the first 2 seasons.
Yeah, it was frustrating because I played a couple of games and then I'd got injured. I had to have a knee operation, so that put me back about 6 months. But then I got my chance. I think really my main chance were probably at Stockport in the auto. Well, I don't know if it would auto windscreen because they just bought Ronnie Jepson and he was cup tied. So I'd got my chance to, and then we had a great game. And from then on, I'd established myself in the team.
Yeah, so I imagine, looking back, it would be towards the end of the 92-93 season that you got yourself firmly established in the Huddersfield team.
Yeah, yeah.
And then with you and Ronnie on board, I think from 93 to 96, the 3 seasons then you were at Huddersfield, you went goal crazy.
Just overnight, we hit it off, and Ronnie is a great player. And for any young player to play alongside anybody, it'd want to be Ronnie Jepson.
It started with a header. A header against Mansfield was Andy's first goal in front of the Huddersfield faithful at the old Leeds Road ground. In fact, Boothy's first 2 for the club came in just 5 appearances in the 92-93 season. The following year started with an easy finish against Crewe in the Associate Members' Cup. But Andy's first purple patch came in the spring of 94, starting with a goal at Fulham in mid-March, which earned a point. He got the only goal in a 1-0 win against Plymouth a week later, the winner versus Bournemouth 3 days after that, typically with a brave head, and a goal worth a point at home to Hartlepool, all of which helped Huddersfield ease away from relegation worries. Andy got the only goal against Leyton Orient in mid-April, the Bonts yet again in earnest. Another very welcome win, and this strike in a 3-0 win at home to Wrexham 3 days later. Boothy got both in a 2-0 win over Cardiff the following week, as Huddersfield cruised up into mid-table security. A week later, Town won a 5-4 thriller away at Cambridge, and of course, Booth got 1. The team unbeaten in their last 12, it augured well for the following year. Ten goals that first sort of full established season alongside Ronnie, if memory serves, and then you exploded. I think you got about 26 the following season.
Yeah,
that was a big season for you.
It was, yeah. That was the first season in the McAlpine then, and yeah, we knew we'd just start. We're lucky to get the stay off relegation really. That followed last season, we knew we'd give it a good shot, and yeah, it just we had a poor start, but after that we just went on, and me and Ronnie, if it weren't me scoring, Ronnie would be scoring, and I think when you've got a lad who got 26 goals and then Ronnie would not chipped him, but Ronnie got 20 odd goals himself, all the team knew we were always going to score goals, so it was a big help.
In the 94-95 season, Andy went into orbit. The Boothy Rocket took off against Chester in late August, a 2-1 win, courtesy of that neat finish. It was the same scoreline 3 days later, as Leyton Orient were beaten by the Boothy Bonts. Andy weighed in with his 3rd in a 3-3 draw at home to Oxford. And a week later, the 10th of September, was a big day for Boothy, his first senior hat-trick away to Plymouth. The first, a neat finish. The second came courtesy of a little help from the Plymouth keeper, but again was put away well. And since the first 2 came from his feet, you won't be surprised to see that the 3rd came from the Bonts. Boothy now had the bit between his teeth. He scored 2 against Stockport at home a week after the hat-trick against Plymouth, as Huddersfield now sat 2nd in Division 2, although back then there was only 1 automatic promotion spot. Boothy got another brace a week later in a 4-3 win away to Bradford. That made it 10 goals in 8 games for Andy, and the 3 points kept Town in 2nd place. Yet another Booth ball in the onion bag the following week at home to Brighton and Hove Albion. It took Huddersfield top of Division 2 and made it 11 goals in 9 games for Andy. There was even time to nick a quick one again against Bradford in the Associate Members' Cup. 2 more goals came his way in October 94, 1 in a 3-3 draw at Crewe and 1 in a 3-1 win at home to Bournemouth. That was the following week as Town stayed top of the pile in Division 2. And the finish, easy as you like. Boothy's first cup goal of this prolific season came in the FA Cup in a 4-1 win against Doncaster Rovers. 5 days later, Boothy was back to his day job, scoring goals in the league. Of course, they all count, as long as the ref says it crossed the line. Andy's Christmas present to himself came 2 days late, December the 27th at home to Rotherham. It was, as you've heard by now, the sweetest strike he feels he ever made for Huddersfield. And he had just time to squeeze one more in before New Year, away at Swansea in a 1-1 draw. And the first goal you'd have scored here was against Leyton Orient.
Leyton Orient, that's right, yeah.
So this would have been, we think, about 94?
It must have been 94, yeah, 94-95 season.
Yeah. So how did that one go? This was at this end?
It was at this end, yeah, and
What's your memory of it?
I think we're 0-0 and it would we'd had a poor start to the season. We'd lost his first league game and we needed to win, and I got the header, and I can't tell you much about it. I can remember heading it into this goal and that's it, and knowing that we won the game, so it was quite an important game.
The season we got promoted, 94-95, the amount of goals he scored with his feet there, and like good goals, not just like tap-ins, it's like, until you see them, you think, oh, he's just going to be scoring like 20 goals a season, 15 with his head. But I think it's probably a 50-50 split. But yeah, in the air, he's untouchable, really.
No New Year hangover for our Andy as he picked up just where he'd left off, though his goal against Crewe came in a 2-1 home defeat. But by early February, Boothy was right back at it, scoring 3 in a fortnight. He got one in a 1-1 draw at home to Bristol Rovers, and another in a 2-1 win at Wrexham as Town climbed back up to second place yet again. Andy got another in the 5-1 mauling of Cardiff at home to keep his team right in the promotion hunt. In the middle of March, Booth bagged his second hat-trick for Huddersfield, his second hat-trick of this season, this one against Chester. The 5-1 win kept Huddersfield in second place, and the third of the three, another neat left-foot finish. Ten days later, Town were top, as Andy got number 26 for his season in a 2-0 home win over Plymouth Argyle. And they were still top when number 27 went in, a 1-1 draw away to Rotherham in mid-April. Andy also scored at Cambridge in another 1-1 draw, but Town now slipped out of the automatic promotion spot. The playoffs were on, the celebrations, you'll see, a bit off. Any team that's got two strikers with 9 on 50 goals in a season, you've got to be a promotion candidate, and I think that was the year you went up, was it not?
Well, yeah. We probably threw it away a little bit. Birmingham were a very good side. Barry were in charge, and they were probably the best team. But looking back, we were the second best. But we ended up, I think, 5th, the last playoff place in the end, which we should never have done. But once we got into them playoffs, we felt so confident. We knew we'd have had a great chance of them.
And was that, I think it must have, was that your first experience of the playoffs?
Yeah, we had 2 great games against Brentford. The 1-1 at our place, and we knew it was going to be difficult because they'd probably deserve to take a lead into the second leg, and it's never easy down at Brentford. And we thought, but we were always confident, I've got to admit. And we went 1 down after about 15 minutes, and thinking, hang on a minute, we could be struggling. But luckily, we got a goal back. Just about 5 minutes after their goal, and it was just a ding-dong battle. It was end to end, and that's one of the greatest games I've got to admit I've played in.
If memory serves, were you not involved in the equalising goal? Didn't you go and challenge the keeper?
No, but Darren Bullock challenged the keeper, and I was the one who knocked it in the goal. So I'm not sure. I've seen the goalkeeper a few times and he still says it's a foul, but I've seen it a few times and I don't think Bully fouled him. But yeah, we got the goal, and after that I've never seen 2 teams fight out a game like that.
It was pretty physical.
It was very physical, yeah, it was. There were chances at both ends, and it was end to end. For the supporters or for the neutral, it'd have been a super game.
I imagine that, I mean, to play in, fantastic, and to come out on top in that sort of trench-like game is terrific. I'd imagine for the Huddersfield fans watching as well, they'll have great memories of that night.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Everyone you speak to, they still remember that, and just the way they all remember Darren Bullock's penalty at the end. He needed to score it, and if you're talking about penalty, he's the best player to have at that situation. He didn't care a bit about it. Had no nerves or anything, and when that went in, the reaction on the players' faces and the supporters, it was superb.
Any professional footballer's point of view, a trip to Wembley is an amazing day.
It was fantastic. The whole build-up, we went down to the Belfry for I think 3 days, and that was just to get the lads together. We did a little bit of training, but most of it was just to try and have some belief going into Wembley that we could win. And the whole build-up was fantastic. We went the day before just to get a feel of the ground. We'd been there in the Autoglass the previous season, and we'd lost to Swansea, so we knew what it was like to go to Wembley and lose, unfortunately. So we went there full of belief, and as I say, we were fortunate that we managed to come out on top in the day.
To play at Wembley in a cup final, all right, I want a cup final, but it was the second best thing, and the pressure on you. I can remember we played in the Autoglass windscreen final the year before, and that was like a day out, and then we came to Wembley this time, and you knew you had to win it. There was nothing for second that day, and the pressure on the lads, you could tell in the changing room they were feeling a bit, because usually we had a confident bunch of lads there, but today I know it was a big game, you could see it.
Jepson now inside that area, covered by Tilson, does well to hook the ball across, and Bullock's in there. Scully, Booth, Huddersfield Town in front. Right on half-time, it's Andy Booth. He's got his 30th goal, he's got his manager off the bench, and a critical time for Huddersfield to take the lead. It's a wonderful time to score. And Andy Boothy, who just keeps popping up with goals at the right time, could hardly have timed this better. Worries for Ward. But here come Rovers in search of an equaliser. They've got one from Marcus Stewart. All the drama has been encapsulated in the last minute of the first half. Dunn immediately goes over to take up the same position that Crosby has been filling. And it is a tactical switch, we are told. And Nick on the touchline here straight away in possession is Dunn. And he floats one across here, Booth's in, Jepson's there, Billy's in! A goal, Chris Billy, Huddersfield Town! Thunderous applause around Wembley. What a substitution, because Ian Dunn played his part in it. Huddersfield regained the lead. Today, Lee Sinnott steps up to receive his medal from Mike Naylor, the Managing Director of Ensley Insurance, and the trophy that goes with it that says Huddersfield Town play in Division 1 next season. He's done the job again. Lee Duxbury, the move from Bradford City, made worthwhile, along with Sinnott, of course. Andy Booth, who got the goal in the first half. They will cheer every player to the echo. Ronnie Jepson, Darren Bullock, who got the critical penalty against Brentford. Ian Dunn, the substitute who laid on the winning goal.
And a big celebration?
It was brilliant, yeah. Yep. We had a few hours in the Wembley Players Bar, and then we went back up to Johnny's, and we had a super night, yeah.
Who would have been the loudest?
It's got to be Neil Warnock. It's got to be.
See, I'm not entirely surprised you say that.
I've never. I had Owen Hunt to start with, but I was only a young lad then when I started. And Ian Ross were a quiet manager, but then Neil came, and I've never known a manager. I've never had a manager since, or never known a manager like Neil. He used to start at 2:45 and build up, and I've never known a dressing room. When he's finished, I've never known a dressing room raring to go as much as Neil did.
So he'd have you like ready to go through a brick wall at 5 to 3?
Yeah, he would. But then if you didn't do it at 3:40, 4:45 when you at half time when you're back on, back in here, I've seen everything go. I can remember first game of the season, brand new stadium here in this dressing room. Just punched a hole in one of these. It'd probably still be there, like it. And I can.
He's knocked one of the roof tiles out and smashed a hole in it.
First game of the season, brand new stadium, everything. We're losing 1-0 to Wickham, and he's there, smashed roof up, and everything's gone in here. You've got to duck here. You've got to watch where you're sitting sometimes. If you're in his firing line, it can be a bit dangerous.
So he can be fiery in that sense, but presumably he can also be. He's a great encourager when he wants to be as well, can't he? He has that ability.
Oh, he has. Yeah. When you're playing for New One, you love it. Like he as a manager and a man manager, he's second to none. He really started my career off, to be honest.
You're in Division 1 now. Is this suddenly a higher standard of football for you personally and for the team?
Yeah, I think so, because we were probably known at the time as a long ball team, and fans from other and critics were saying, "Oh, they won't be able to attack it in the higher division," and we probably started to believe that. But that year, Neil Warnock left us, and Brian Horton took over, and Brian got started playing us a bit of football, and we knew we're never going to be the greatest team of footballers, but he got us start playing a little bit. He brought in a couple of players, but I think we got a shot the first game. We played Oldham, first game of the season, and we got absolutely hammered 3-0. And I think Graham Sharp was in charge of Oldham, and we thought if this is the standard, we're going to be struggling here. But we picked ourselves up after that game, and we really, looking back, we should have finished in the playoff places, really.
Life in Division 1 started pretty well for Huddersfield and for Boothy, as he and Ronnie Jepson continued to score, plenty of them. Andy opened his account with a double at Port Vale in the League Cup, part of a 3-1 win. The second, strong finish. His first league goal came in a 2-1 defeat at Charlton, though Town had won a couple of Division 1 matches by then. The finish, sublime. 10 days later, he had 2 Division 1 goals to his name, getting one in a 3-0 win at home to Barnsley. Another cracker. Boothy clearly liked playing Barnsley back then, as he got another against the Yorkshire rivals the following week in the League Cup, part of a 2-0 win. West Brom were the next to feel the wrath of Booth, a 2-1 win at the end of September that took Town 5th in Division 1. 2 more goals for Boothy in a week in mid-October, one against Reading in a 3-1 away defeat, and another against Sunderland at home that lifted Town back up to 11th place. A quiet month followed, but Boothy was back amongst the goals against Wolves in late November in a 2-1 win that pushed the team up to 8th place. In the run-up to Christmas, Boothy bagged another 3 in quick succession, one in a 2-0 win over Sheffield United, another in a 4-1 win over the Baggies that took Town up to 4th, and yet another in a 2-2 draw at Luton just before Christmas on December the 23rd. He had time, he had space, and my did he have the left foot finish. Boothy then took a little winter break from the goals before returning to the scoresheet against Peterborough in the FA Cup in early February. And then came 4 more in successive games, the first in a 2-2 draw at home to Charlton. Town stayed 4th in the league. Andy got his 15th for the season against Palace a week later, followed by what turned out to be a consolation strike in a 3-1 cup defeat to Wimbledon. Not much consolation in Andy's next either, as Town went down 3-2 at Derby County, but they were still in playoff contention. He scored his 18th of the 95-96 season in a 3-2 defeat at Sunderland at the end of March, followed by a more valuable strike in the 3-1 home win over Reading 3 days later. Another 3-1 home win over Southend, another goal for Boothy. Town sat in 6th spot. Andy's 21st and last of the campaign came in a 3-0 home win over Millwall, but it was their last win of the season. They missed the playoffs by 2 spots. Because you're suddenly at a higher standard of football now. I mean, your career's going up, the club's going in the right direction. Was there a standout win?
One, I'll not forget, we played Wolves at home, and De Wolf were playing centre half, and I thought, what a great centre defender he is. Like a big lad, this is going to be tough. And we absolutely hammered him. I think Wolves had not been they've been up there on the first division for a few years, and we thought it's going to be tough. I think it was a few games into the season, and we played them, and we absolutely played them off the park. And I think that game from then just set us up for the rest of the season.
By the summer of 1996, Andy was a big name, a star striker. He played more than 150 games for his hometown club now and won 3 England under-21 caps. The Premiership clubs were circling. They'd seen Boothy's quality and now they came calling. Huddersfield decided to accept a club record £2.7 million fee from Sheffield Wednesday.
I think we'd had like a couple of weeks left of his holidays, and now I was going to Cyprus. And never had any inkling, no rumours or anything. Then when I got home, my mum said there's been people wanting like phone calls and everything, and then it obviously was starting my move to Sheffield.
Boothy'd been there since he was a kid, you know, so obviously needed pastures new. Have a chance to play in the Premiership as well. You can't turn that down, and you know, he went on, and like you say, for a great move for him, and you know, he's done well.
So was it a move that you were looking for, or did you feel that the club were pushing you into? How did it actually work?
No, I don't think the club were, because they'd already turned down a $2 million bid for Palace earlier in the season. So, but they'd told me if the right price comes, they had to accept it, and also they didn't want to stand in the way of my career. And if a Premiership club comes in, we'll let you talk to them, and they were true to the word.
Obviously, Boothy then, it was massive money for Huddersfield Town. He couldn't turn it down, and obviously it was a big move for Andy Booth. I think everybody knew once he first broke into the first team that Boothy would go on and play at high level, and he did that. And you know, he had some good years at Sheffield Wednesday.
So did you feel it was a move that suited both you and Huddersfield at the time, really?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it would have good that time. It would have a great amount of money, and it gave me a chance to play in the Premiership. But also, I've got to admit, I'm a hometown. I'm a Huddersfield lad, and it made I could stay in Huddersfield and travel to Sheffield. So, they were an absolute perfect move for me.
Yeah, I knew him at Wednesday when I was there. That's the first time I really got to know him. Been so unfortunate with injuries that you know, he probably should have played at the highest level. And I mean England, I don't mean just Premier League. Because he'd been the type of centre forward that England nearly always play.
I'm sure you had some great times at Sheffield Wednesday. It was Premiership football as well. But you were niggled by injuries at that time in your career.
Yeah, that's probably when the injuries started. To be honest, I had a first season and I had a top goal scorer. I think I got 13 goals that season, and which my first league season in the Premiership, I couldn't have asked for anything better. But then the next season we're in Amsterdam, we're in Holland I think we were playing a tournament in there for pre-season, and I did my knee, which I just fell down some steps and did my knee, and I needed an operation on it, which for winning the season it set me back, and I don't think I got back into it till November. And since then I started picking up these little niggly injuries, so probably that second year at Sheffield were the start of them.
And listen, you scored a Premiership hat-trick, I'm right in saying, am I not?
Yeah, that was funny, that, because that was the November. I'd been out for months, and my first game back, David Pleat had just been sacked, and Peter Sheaves had taken over, and it was Bolton, and I'm thinking I'd be happy just to get 60 minutes under the belt, and at half-time we're 5-0 up, and I'd scored that trick. It was an unbelievable game.
Was it just couldn't explain, one of those days everything went right?
It was one of them. Yeah, it was 2-0 up after about 10 minutes, and we were playing brilliant stuff. I don't think anybody had been able to touch us that day. And then it just seemed every time I was in the box, it just came to me, and 3 times. And saying, I remember I missed an absolute gobber second half to score another one. So, but I was very happy with that day.
I can only imagine what playing with Paolo Di Canio must have been like. It must have been like being equally blessed and cursed, because he must have been sublime to play with on his day, but a nightmare to be in a dressing room with on another day.
Oh, he is, but people think that, but Paolo was superb.
Yeah.
He was a super bloke, very, very professional. He worked out in the gym. He did a lot of extra training in there, after training. It were very erratic, and you didn't know what you were going to get from Paolo, but he was a super bloke, and I think he's always going to be one of those eccentric characters, and it was good to play with one.
Am I right in thinking that you did, I don't know how you would have felt about this, did you not score against Huddersfield for Sheffield Wednesday?
I think it was like third game of the season, and we were at home, and I don't think we'd started off very well at Sheffield, and yeah, we came to play Huddersfield, and they had a good team then.
So was this a cup game?
No, we'd just gone down that first year.
So this was Division 1?
Yeah, and Steve Boothy had brought me in, he'd built a good team up, and I think we were 3-0 down at half time, and I've never seen a Huddersfield team play as well as they did. That first half, they were absolutely superb. And this was
here at the...
This was at Hillsborough.
Yeah. Oh, at Hillsborough.
At Hillsborough, yeah.
Of course, you're 3-0 down to Huddersfield at Hillsborough.
Yep.
Which is not good.
It's not, no. And there were, I can remember Taff giving us a right.
Because then you've got Terry Orth at Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, and Paul Jewell. And there were some words said in that. And sorry, no, we were 3-0 down, and then I scored a goal just on the stroke of half time. The keeper's parried it. They've had a free kick, the keeper's parried it, and I've reacted and just headed it in. So we're 3-1 down, and we knew another goal had set us up, and we got that. But Huddersfield State, honestly, we got a penalty. We got the penalty and got to 3-2, and I know we missed a chance very last minute. I think it was ball on the line, and one of the lads missed it. So it should have really been 3-3. But yeah, it was good that day. It was disappointing to come out the losers, but it was nice to get a goal against Huddersfield.
And then you had a loan spell at Spurs. Briefer than I'm sure than you would have perhaps wished, but it was, I'm sure, an interesting experience.
It was, yeah, very interesting. It was just out of the blue, like completely out of the blue. The Wednesday morning, I got a phone call from one of the blokes I know saying, "Do I fancy to go on loan to one of my previous managers?"
Which was David Pleat.
Which was David Pleat. I was thinking, well, Neil Warnock at Sheffield and Brian Horton, Port Vale. I think maybe it was one of them. And I said, well, who is it? He said, oh, David Pleat at Tottenham. I said, oh yeah, I'd definitely like to do that, yeah. And
let me think about it. I've thought about it. I mean.
It was, yeah. And then the following Wednesday, I was down at Tottenham.
How ironic that you went on a Wednesday from Wednesday.
I know, yeah, it was, yeah, it was.
So presumably you're thinking, God, I could end up being a Spurs player. This was a loan.
It was, yeah,
just to see how it worked.
No, it was just David Pleat. He did. Les Ferdinand were out. Right. Chris Armstrong, Stephen Everson. They were only Redbrough that were fit. So he just wanted a big man.
So it was always going to be just a
short
term.
It was only for. I think it ended up about 6 weeks. Yeah. But he just wanted a target man, just to play up with Redbrough just until like Les and Stephen Everson had got fit.
And did you enjoy your time?
Oh, I loved it. Yeah, yeah. You think Sheffield Wednesday were a big club, and then you go down to Tottenham, and there's no comparison. It was brilliant. It was brilliant, and just to have that 6 weeks saying that I've done it and being able to put on a Tottenham shirt, it was something special.
Right, the treatment area. Not your favourite place, but a place you know very well.
Yeah, I spent a lot of hours in this room. Yeah, I wish I didn't, but unfortunately I've picked up quite a few injuries over my career, and I've spent a lot of time in here.
I mean, we're surrounded by all these pictures of the human body. If you were to put a cross by all the areas you've had trouble with, well, we'd hardly see the body, would we?
I think you just have your back, that's all. Looking at that picture, there's only my back that's been all right, I think.
So what's been, I mean, you've not really had any like major career-threatening injuries, or have you?
No, just really a few minor knee operations, but it's just, I've had a lot of niggles, like strains, hamstring strains, groin strains, and a few ankle injuries, but apart from that, nothing serious.
It's just at times, I'm sure, followers of you and the club have thought, God, he's always injured.
I know, yeah.
You've had a spate of them,
yeah,
really.
I've had my fair share of injuries, and I wish I could say I hadn't, but I haven't. It's just frustrating at times.
I would imagine it can be hell for a player. It's the worst feeling when one little niggle, it's not something major that you can say, right, by October I'll be back. One little thing after another just seems to perpetually keep you out of the team.
That's it, yeah, like 2 or 3 week injuries, and you just get back, and then you play 2 or 3 games, and then you get another one, and it's just like all your seasons stop-start, and it's just, if you can get 20, 25 games under your belt at the beginning of the season, then you've cracked it, but unfortunately the last few years I haven't been able to do that.
By the spring of 2001, after 5 years at Sheffield Wednesday and a loan spell at Tottenham Hotspur, Boothy was ready for home. And Huddersfield, for their part, were happy to re-sign the local boy made good, to bring him back to where he once belonged. On exactly March the 22nd of the year 2001, Boothy came back for good.
We'd been talking for a few weeks. Lou, the manager, had spoken to me, asking me if I'd be interested, and I said, yep, I don't have to think about it. I'd be definitely interested in coming back. But at the time, Sheffield was still struggling to be safe in the Division 1. So I'd spoken to Peter Sheaves and Terry Olive, and they said, who would take Peter Sheaves with the manager then? He says, if we're safe by deadline day, we'll allow you to go. And he stuck to his word. We got safe, and then it just happened from there.
And they got you back for a pretty good fee, so they did good business for Huddersfield. Sold you for 2.7 million, got you back for I think about 150 grand.
I think about 200 grand, yeah, it was very good business, yeah. Yeah, it was. It was 5 years later, a few more dodgy knees, so yeah.
I think it was a bargain. I think it was a bargain. But I'm sure you were. There was part of you that was very happy to come back to your hometown team.
Oh, they were definitely, yeah. There were a few clubs interested, but when I got the call, I don't know. I'd always wanted to come back to Huddersfield, but I've got to admit, I always thought it maybe probably my last club, maybe when I'm in 30, 31, like this time now. But it came earlier than what I thought, so yeah, I didn't really have to think about it.
Yeah, there was always rumours that he was going to come back of his time at Sheffield Wednesday, and I think he signed the transfer deadline day. So it was fantastic to see him back in the changing room and everything. And yeah, I played, it was Portsmouth, I remember it very well. I actually think I set up the goal, but probably times and memories, I probably thought I played a bigger part than I actually did in it. And just the elation when he scored, it was big weight, and obviously the crowd, he's been a crowd favourite all his time here.
Now you did score on your first game back here when you returned from Sheffield Wednesday, which must have been a great feeling.
Oh, it was, yeah. It was a big game that we'd come back. We were struggling. We were near bottom of the league. Well, I think we were about being bottom, and we knew we were playing Portsmouth, who were around us, and we had to win it. And we were 1-0 down at half time, and it was the first game back, and it'd been nice.
Desperate to do well.
Definitely, yeah. It'd been nice to put on a show, and just wanted to get that goal, and it weren't going right. We had 45 minutes. We didn't play so well, and then I can remember the ball was in the penalty area, and it just. I don't know, it just bounced to me. It bounced up a bit, and I volleyed it in, and then the scenes.
Got you right
it's just bounced up a little bit, and I've just got over it. That's one of the best feelings I've had. I can remember tearing up that side, and all the fans were. It was just nice to be back.
And how did the rest of that season go? You joined in the March of 2001, so that was quite close to the end of that season.
Yeah, we were in a relegation battle, and when I saw the fixtures, I knew it were going to be. I think we had 10 games to go, and I thought we were going to be struggling here, but I still had a lot of confidence and faith in us staying up, and we'd done all the hard work. We'd won games, and results were going all right for us. And then the last week, I can remember on the Tuesday night, we went down to Wimbledon, and if we'd have won, we were definitely safe. And we were losing 1-0. We got a goal back, and we absolutely had them for 20 minutes. We should have scored 4 or 5, and we ended up drawing, which meant. And Crystal Palace and Portsmouth were playing on the Wednesday, and if Crystal Palace, as long as Crystal Palace didn't win, we were still safe, and Crystal Palace were going down to Portsmouth thinking we'll be all right, thinking they're not going to get much from Portsmouth, and I think they won 4-1, and then so I went to the last game, and when that happened, you're thinking it might not be our year this year, and we played Birmingham, and we let in an early goal. I scored the goal then to level at half time.
Lack of control from Woodhouse. Let's face you running the direction of the Birmingham goal. Baldry will feed Thornley down the right this time for the first time, really. Thornley left-footed ball in, Facey leaves it, Booth! He has got his goal as Andy Booth, and Huddersfield are not to be denied. You can afford to smile now.
And then Birmingham scored again, so we were losing, and obviously the results didn't go for us, so we unfortunately got relegated. But we saw the goals from the other teams, and there were a few that were very dodgy. So you look back now and you're thinking it was just on the wall. Like it was always going to happen.
I imagine. I mean, obviously for fans of a club like Huddersfield, it's a grim day when you get relegated. For players too, it's tough. I mean, I think they sometimes think the players are so mercenary they just get in the cars and drive off to the castles and don't care. But you do care.
Of course we do. I've been in a lot of dressing rooms. I've played 16 years, and I've never seen a dressing room like that. That day, that was the worst feeling from everybody. I've never sat there, and we must have been a good hour, 20 minutes, and not one person said anything. There were the management, and usually they'll try and pick you up, but we just couldn't. It was just one of those days, and I'll never forget that. You have all your highs which you remember, but as a low, that's got to be the lowest in my career.
So were you a fan as a kid of Huddersfield? Did you come and watch as a kid?
Yeah, I can remember. I used to go to the old stadium and
the Leeds Road.
Yeah, well, Mum and Dad used to work as turnstile operators in there.
Oh, so the family connection.
Oh, there is, and they must be doing it now 30, 35 years. And yeah, and at least I used to get in free, so that was a bonus. And then when I was a bit older, my dad used to let me jump over the turnstiles as well. So I've got on me. I must owe him a bit of money.
And who did you like to come and watch then?
My first hero was Peter Fletcher. Don't ask me why. I couldn't tell you, but I can remember the first game I came down. I think Peter Fletcher was definitely playing, and he scored. And
you were what, 5 or 6 then?
I must have been on. Probably about 4 or 5.
Really?
And yeah, and it stuck in my mind, and that everybody used to call me Fletcher after that. Like I had a kit with his number on, and that's so. He was my hero.
And that got you the bug? The
It did, yeah,
bug?
it did. I think he must have scored in the Cowshed, because that's all I ever wanted to do when I was a young lad, scored in the Cowshed. And luckily, before they changed to the stadium, I got that chance.
And the club's got to pick itself up from relegation, and you started to do that the next season.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. We worked hard pre-season. We knew it was going to be difficult coming down. It always is, but we did. We started well, and we did all right that season. I think I got 14 goals that season, and it was we managed to get in. Well, I'm not saying managed. We were always going to be in the playoffs, but just couldn't get into promotion.
Andy's first goal of the 01-02 season in Division 2 helped Town to a 2-1 win at Peterborough. A quiet spell, not helped by niggling injuries, followed, but Boothy was back with a bang in October, scoring all 3, hat-trick number 3 for Huddersfield, remember, in a great win at Northampton. The victory took Town up to 7th, just 1 place outside the playoffs. All 3 goals were good ones. But the third was a typically outstanding back post header. Four days later, Huddersfield were in the top 6 as a Booth goal helped to a 5-1 walloping of Wrexham. Andy's next strike came against Cambridge, part of a 2-1 home win in early December. And that was followed by one against Scunthorpe in the Associate Members' Cup. Next, some game for Huddersfield and Boothy away to Colchester just before Christmas. Andy scored 2 in a 3-3 draw that must have been terrific to watch, although Town had slipped to 10th place in the division. All by himself, Andy then kept Huddersfield in the Associate Members' Cup in January, scoring the only goal away at Hull City. And he then got the opening goal in a 3-2 win away to Bournemouth. Huddersfield 9th now, still 3 points off the playoff places. The team then won their third league game in a row at home to QPR, 1-0 Booth. All quiet on the goal front until April, Andy popping in the winner in a 2-1 home victory over Port Vale, which established them in the playoff spots. Yeah, so just tell us the story of that playoff campaign, because you'd had one that went well, this one didn't quite go to plan.
No, it didn't. It's amazing. My second playoff, and it's exactly the same against Brentford again. We played, and the same scenario. We played Brentford first leg at our place, and we drew 0-0 there. But I can remember I had 2 goals disallowed that day, and all right, they say one of them was offside, and I wasn't sure about that one, and really because of handball, which I've seen it's a lot worse. So we could have been going into down to Brentford 2-0 up, but that weren't to be. We got an early goal. The keeper, I had a weak left foot shot, and the keeper's thrown it in. So we 1-0 up after about 2 minutes, and
at Griffin Park.
Yeah.
Andy Booth had 2 goals disallowed in Sunday's goalless first leg at the McAlpine, and Brentford seemed keen to make it up to him. After just 2 minutes, Steve Sidwell's slack pass let in the Town striker, and although Bees keeper Paul Smith should have dealt with the shot, Booth and 2,800 travelling fans weren't complaining.
It's one of them. It's horrible. That early.
Yeah.
We just needed another one.
You can't defend for 88 minutes.
We can't. No, we can't. And we just needed that second one. And I think would have been all right. But it didn't come. And then they got in the lead 2-1. And I can remember about 15 minutes ago we had one of the most blatant penalties not given. And then they obviously they won the game. So I've had an absolute super night at Griffin Park, one playoff, and then I've absolutely terrible one the other. So I've had both sides of the coin.
Are you a great celebrator of goals? Do you have a particular, because most strikers do you have a particular celebration?
Yeah, no, I've never had I've had one celebration. That was down at when we played Cambridge with Ian Dunn. It was just something silly like it was something like Dunny's there and I'm there, and we go like that and miss something, and then we go like that. It was poor. When we were doing it, it looked good in training. I thought, oh, we'll do that, and then he was there just when I'd scored it, so I thought, well, we'll do it. But looking back, and there's stuff that you wish you hadn't done, and that's definitely one of them.
So you have to pick yourselves up again and have another go the following season. Were you confident going into that season that this will be the 2002-2003 season, that you can get up this year?
Yeah, we thought we'd stand a chance. We really did, but that summer the board got rid of Lou Macari and Joe, and so we started off again with a new season with a new manager with Mick Wadsworth, and Mick wanted to play his system 4-3-3, and he wanted to play a lot of total football really, and it started off we never really managed the 4-3-3 system really. It probably never suited us as players, but that was no excuse. It was one of them seasons. It didn't start very well, and then obviously the club went into administration. The players weren't paid for 10 months. It was just everything had gone wrong, and I say the club was just at its lowest point, and obviously that was the year that we struggled, and we're bottom of the league nearly all season.
This turned out to be Town's seasonus horribilis. Injuries meant Andy's season mirrored the club's. Miserable. This goal gave them a point at Blackpool on New Year's Day, though Town in financial turmoil were bottom of Division 2. He scored again in late January. This late strike against Cardiff gave the club its first win in 7. And he dug the team out of another hole at Barnsley at the end of February. Huddersfield were 4th bottom now and in with a chance of staying up. Andy's last 2 strikes of the season proved to be in vain, though he gave Town the lead on each occasion. First at Notts County at the end of March, and then at Stockport in late April. Both goals, though, in the end valueless as Town went down. And does that become a very anxious time for you individually as players? You're not getting paid, the club's in turmoil, there's a new manager, the system's not working. I imagine it's something like you come home to your family and say, you know, it's all going wrong at the moment.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. There were times when you come home and it's probably take out on my wife, like, and probably the rest of the players. To say it weren't going well, we weren't playing well, and also you do worry about what's going to happen in the future. The longer it goes on, when you aren't getting paid, and to be honest, the lads were brilliant. To say they haven't been paid for so long, the attitude in that change room, all right, we weren't winning games and the confidence were very low, but they kept going and they kept working hard in training, and there was one person that said, that's it, I'm not playing. And I think they should take a lot of credit for that, because at them difficult times I don't think anybody realised how bad it was.
No, I think for almost anybody else in any walk of life to not get paid for 10 months would be disastrous. I mean, you'd be on your heels.
Well, that's it. If you weren't getting paid at a job, you'd just walk out. Yeah. That's it. You wouldn't stand it. But football's a little bit different, isn't it? And that's it. Well, but I say the lads were credit. They stuck to the task, and unfortunately, it just weren't to be that season.
You know, when the cash crisis was on 12 months ago, 18 months ago, you know, people were looking to him to take a lead in it, and he did. You know, he got the players and to take wage cuts, and in the end, obviously, they weren't getting any money at all. But that's all been sorted out now, and he's been really, without saying too much about it, he's one of the biggest earners at the club, and you know, he took a huge pay cut, really. Okay, the club has extended his contract, but he could have gone elsewhere, but he didn't. And
were the fans patient and good with you as players?
They were, yeah, they were. Because I think at the start, they were more. I don't think the fans were happy about the 4-3-3 system, and they wanted to get back to 4-4-2, where we probably were stronger. But yeah, in the end, the fans got really behind us. I think they gives a good last push after January, and probably there was a game we were at Stockport, and I think if we'd have won that game, I think there were 3 games left, and if we'd have won that game, I think we'd have stayed up. We were 1-0 up, and after about 80 minutes, and if we'd have stayed there, it would have been first time we're out of the bottom 3 probably since November something, and they scored 2 late goals, and then the lads went. If I had to say, because we'd put a little bit of a run together, and if that game just sealed as relegation.
He was unbeatable in the air. The only person who could beat him in the air was me. He didn't like playing against me in practice matches. He hated it because he was a young kid coming through, and I was a big rough centre half. Boothy used to hate playing against me, so he never won a header against me.
As an apprentice, we always used to have practice matches on a Friday morning against the first team. And George Muller used to tell me not to jump because he could never win a header, couldn't Jacko? So I'll never forget that. It used to get him mad. He tried to win every header and he just couldn't win one. So in the end, George pulled me aside and just said, look, you've got to let him win a couple of headers. It's a Friday morning. He's got a game tomorrow. He needs this confidence.
And he always talks about that low move to Tottenham where I think he played half a game. But he says he played 4 games, but he only played half a game. But he never shuts up talking about it. He used to roommate with all his big superstars from Tottenham. So we hear about that every day, which gets a little bit boring.
There was definitely a sense from you and the rest of the players that the club was going to turn a corner now, both in terms of the whole club and the management and players. There was a sense of a new beginning.
Definitely, yeah, because I think I worked at the club at the time, but when Peter was manager first time, I thought he was very harshly treated. When the new chairman came in, he got rid of him as soon as possible, which I thought, for how well he'd done, he should have been given that chance to go on a little bit. So he was very unlucky at that time, and the fans knew, they all wanted him back, and everybody, I think, because all the young lads had grown up, they were all like, seeing Peter as the manager before, and everybody wanted him back at the club. And from that day, I can remember first day of training, I think there were 5 players there who just signed on, but it put a smile back on everybody's faces, and he brought in some great players. He he gambled on a few youngsters, and it all paid off. And since then, I don't think we've ever looked back.
You certainly have had a promotion with him since he's been back here. You won the playoff final to get yourself back, and the club suddenly was a bit more on the up at that point, was it not?
Certainly. I mean, I came back and I think they'd had 2 relegations and I think 5 managers in 5 years. So the club was on a down, and I came back. There was 8 players, and Boothy was one of them 8, and we had a fantastic year at Cardiff. Went to Cardiff and won the penalty shootout. The following year we missed the place by a point with one of the youngest squad this club's ever produced. So certainly the club is on the up again.
From rock bottom, Boothy and his hometown club started to climb back up. Andy got the first in a 1-1 draw at Doncaster in late August. In September, Boothy was at it again, scoring in a terrific 4-2 League Cup win at Sunderland, who were then playing their football in Division 1. Boothy bagged his second league goal of the season against Leyton Orient just 4 days later, the start of 4 league wins on the trot. The third of those came at Southend, where Boothy's bonds banged another one in. His goal at Lincoln in mid-October was the first of the game, but counted for nothing in the end in a 3-1 defeat. Of more value was Andy's strike a week later in a 2-1 win over Carlisle at home, Town up to 7th at that stage. What a strange day at Scunthorpe in early November, a 6-2 drubbing, but Boothy scored both of Town's goals. Their away form was poor at that point. Home form was better though. A 3-1 win over Hull saw Booth and his young apprentice John Stead both get on the score sheet. The finish typically ramrod straight. On Boxing Day, Andy unwrapped a priceless present for his team. The only goal in a 1-0 win at Darlington, the first of 6 league wins on the bounce. When he next chipped in a 4-0 rout of lowly Macclesfield at home, the club were in an automatic promotion spot. Boothy's next strike earned Town a point at Leyton Orient, although the team finished with 9 men. Andy was one of 2 men sent off that day, one of his yellow cards coming for this goal celebration. His goals, though, so often meant points for his team, and that was the case again in a second-half strike at Northampton, Huddersfield going on to win 1-0. Andy's 14th and last of the season, and his 100th for his club, came in a 1-1 draw at Cheltenham. Not enough for automatic promotion, though. The playoffs beckon again. Now, you had a great season then, and sure enough, come the end of the season, you're in the playoffs again.
That's a surprise, yeah, it is. Which it was. I've seen that. I said about the Birmingham changing room. We should have been. We'd done well. We'd played well. We'd done so well this season. As a team, the youngsters had done superb. Everybody. We'd had John Stead, who got us. Obviously, he'd gone to Blackburn, but he set us up very well for that season. We got to Cheltenham last game of the season, just needing to do whatever Torquay were going to do. But if we won, we were always going to be up. And we're leading 1-0. I'll never forget that game. It was the 100th goal that I scored on that game. We're leading 1-0 till about 75, 77 minutes, and unfortunately Cheltenham scored, and the Torquay was up, weren't going for us. So, and that was another game which it just didn't seem to happen for us again.
It must be very difficult because you've just missed out on automatic promotion, but you know somehow you've got to get yourself back up again for the playoffs, because it's not all over. It's just that the easy part's over. Now you've got to do the hard part.
I can remember that Monday morning, the manager, he had a little meeting on the training ground, and we said that's it, it's passed. Had a little joke about it, had a gut pav for giving us this back pass, and that was it. It was forgotten. It made us. I can remember it was a hard training session, but a fun one. And after that was it. We were prepared for the playoffs. Lincoln down there, the first leg, which was the first time in the playoffs I've done, when we had an away tie first leg, and you knew what you were going to get from Lincoln. We knew it was going to be tough. We'd had a couple of good battles against them in the league, and we knew it weren't going to be easy. And we've got off to another flying start. If he scored, Rob Edwards put a great corner in. If he scored header, and we 1-0 up after what, five minutes, and we dominated it. First half, we absolutely dominated it.
This is in a useful area, and it's gone straight in, and Huddersfield Town lead. It seemed to go almost straight in from the left boot of Rob Edwards. I said he swings them in, and he swung it into perfection.
Second half, they've come in, and obviously we knew they were going to come at us, and they scored it early on to make it 1-1, but the lads kept on. We weren't going to let this one go, and we got a late goal. David Murphy scored to make it 2-1 to give us an advantage at home.
10 back for Lincoln, 8 up for Huddersfield, so the odds are stacked against the away side here, but you never know. It's a useful delivery, it's a Booth header and a brilliant save from Marriott, but he's squeezed in. Huddersfield have got their second goal here. It was squeezed in at the back post. Murphy, I think he's taking the applause. Soche was in there too. Huddersfield fans delirium.
And so you saw them off in the second leg back at home. That was steady.
Only just, yep. Yep, that'd be another one where we thought all we have to do is just one goal, and first goal, and it's probably our game. But as you know, football don't work like that. They got the first goal, and then another minute later they'd got a second one. So that they were in the lead. The fans were silent. Management were quiet. I think the players just couldn't wait for that half-time whistle, just to get in that dressing room, just to sort out really everything were going wrong.
Lincoln pressing forward once again. It's Bailey, it's opened up for him. 2 goals in just over a minute have swung this tie dramatically in favour of the visitors.
And we've come out, we know we've got 45 minutes to put it right, and I've never seen scenes like it. The fans were behind us. I got the penalty just, and then Rob Edwards scored an absolute cracker of a goal, and the fans that night were absolutely super. I think there were about 19,000-20,000 in the stadium, and for a long time I've played a lot of games here, but I've never witnessed scenes like that.
Holdsworth, Edwards, Worthington once again. Lincoln getting plenty of men back beyond the ball. Here's Booth, that's the trip, is it? The referee has looked long and hard. He's given the penalty to Huddersfield Town. It's their second appeal, and they've got that one. Initially, he didn't want to give it. He looked at the linesman, and the linesman has said yes. There was a trip on Andy Booth, a push on Andy Booth. And Schofield jogging up, little shimmy. He sends the keeper the wrong way. And Huddersfield Town are right back in the contest.
And then we kept on playing, and we were the strongest side in the second half. And then I'll never forget, balls come across. John McAleskey's done a couple of turns, he always says he passed it to Rob, but there's no way he passed it to Rob, and Rob just struck it, and Rob's not going to hit a sweeter shot in his life. And when that went in, the place erupted, and there were no way. I think there were about 10-15 minutes left. There were no way we were going to lose it then.
Worthington, still trying to tee it up for McAleskey, like a Rob Edwards. What a goal for Rob Edwards! Huddersfield Town draw level on the night. They could be heading to Cardiff. 8 minutes to go. It's Huddersfield Town 2, Lincoln City 2, and on aggregate, Huddersfield lead 4-3.
And you were off to Cardiff. You'd had a playoff success at Wembley. You hadn't been to Cardiff before, certainly not for a playoff final, but you knew what it was like to win a playoff final.
Yeah, it was my first time in Cardiff, and I think, looking back, the management did it right. They took us down. We were playing on the Monday. They took us down on the Friday night, got us in hotels in Cardiff, went to the first division playoff match, and went to the second one the day after. And I think it just showed what it was all about. The first 45 minutes of that game we played well. Mansfield came into it in the second half, and I've got to admit I had a good chance. Looking back now, I went a little bit wide and ended up on my left foot, and I've tried to chip the keeper. Probably not the wisest decision, but and then they've had a goal disallowed, which has gone out for their goal kick, but the linesman was very brave like it and give it penalties. I've never seen four lads step up as coolly in a pressure situation as the 4 lads did for Huddersfield.
Were you one of the penalty takers?
Yeah, I took the first one. So.
Did you? So
yeah.
That's a brave move.
Yeah. I'm just glad it went in.
So penalty kick number 1 to Rob Edwards of Huddersfield Town. The goal-scoring hero in the semi-final. The hero now. 1-0 Huddersfield. It's Wayne Corden right-footed against Rahubka, and Rahubka saves. First blood Huddersfield. And 2-0 it is. Danny Schofield gives Huddersfield an edge. It's going to be a long run-up from the top scorer of Mansfield Town, and he's not... Oh, he has missed! Oh dear, that's dreadful. What a moment for Liam Lawrence to choose his worst spot kick of the season. This to give Huddersfield a huge advantage. It's 3-0. They are roaring away to my left. They are miserable away to my right. Lee Fowler, who's never scored a goal for Huddersfield since his move from Coventry City, can seal their passage into the division higher. Pilkington, the captain of Mansfield, composed. Is this the moment for Lee Fowler? It is. Take your place in Division 2, Huddersfield Town. Joy for Jacko. Despair for Keith Curl and co. It's all blue and white here in Cardiff. Wales belongs to Huddersfield. Huddersfield belong to Division 2. And after 2 relegations in 3 years, they're on their way back up.
Obviously, you know, you saw who the penalty takers were. I think Boothy was going to be the 11th man actually, because he was panicking there. I think it were a good job. You know, we had the lads who stepped up and got it over and done with, because we wouldn't have fancied Boothy stepping up for him.
I think I would have been down at 11, but when we were on the halfway line, the 11 lads, I'm looking around and I'm talking to them, and not one of them wanted to take it. So if it had been after the 5th, if it had been a Joe after the 5th, I think I'd have had to step up for the 6th. So would have probably still been in Division 3 if that had happened.
But a great day for Huddersfield, great day for you as players. I mean, that's what you play for those sorts of moments.
Definitely, yeah. You know, winning that, you know, tops anybody's career, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, I didn't play. I'd long finished before the Cardiff playoff. So yeah, for him to take part in that and actually hold the trophy up. Although I did give him stick, because I thought at the time he was captain, and like Peter was the manager, like Peter Jackson still is, and he was hankering on the edge to pick the trophy up, and Andrew let him in, and I caned him saying that he was the captain, he should have picked the trophy if he'd done it there and then. But he says that he asked Peter if he'd like to join in, and obviously Jacko was elated, so that they shared raising the trophy in Cardiff.
Andy Booth for Huddersfield Town. He is Mr. Huddersfield. And with Peter Jackson, they lift a trophy together that tells you that Huddersfield Town are back in business on the way up.
Wembley was superb, but the Cardiff one, after a year ago, the club had nearly folded. We'd had 5 players. The young lads came in. We'd had, I don't know how many homegrown players, there must have been 8 or 9 playing in the final, and everything it all happened that year. And the feeling once it had happened, I'd say that was probably my greatest achievement in football.
Oh, they're all coming now. Brookie, you're going to miss your chance here, lads.
Can I go now?
Yeah.
To say he's had a good career and that he's earned a lot of money, he's the tightest man in the world.
Somebody else said that.
Yeah, very tight. We won't buy lads a drink at all.
That's it. When you bought the first 3 rounds and then you're expecting somebody else to buy it, then they start calling you tight. It does hurt you a little bit.
When he's on a night out, his dress sense is that bad that he wears PFA Adidas trainers with jeans.
No.
On a night out. And
I thought you got arrested in Huddersfield for that.
Well, yeah. Well, no, because a few of them wear PFA trainers. And also, he's that bad at dressing himself that his missus has to buy his own clothes.
Now that isn't
And I
embarrassing.
don't think he's ever bought an item of clothing in his life because it's that bad and she can't stand walking around town with him.
He does look like he gets dressed in the dark most days, doesn't he?
Yeah, every day. It's about enough, that.
So, you're back up, you've been promoted, and actually in this last season that we're talking about, the goals have kept coming. You've probably not played as regularly as you like, but that's been the story of your career, I suppose, to some extent.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, this season summed up. We had a good start, yeah. And then halfway through, I think November, I went up for the board and just landed awkwardly, did my ankle ligaments, and that put me out for a couple of months. Then I did a couple of niggles again. So yeah, you say for the last few years, it was a similar pattern.
From Division 3, Town now found themselves in League 1, and Andy found himself back on the score sheet. A late goal in a 3-2 win at Stockport on the opening day. Cracking diving header too. Hull City have conceded a few to Boothy down the years, and he got another in a 4-0 home win in early September. Blackpool too have often been beaten black and blue by Boothy. This early header was worth a point at Bloomfield Road. Andy had to wait till January for his next victim. He came off the bench to score against Barnsley, although the Yorkshire rivals took all 3 points. Boothy's next goal was ultimately worthless too. He got the first in a 4-3 defeat at Walsall, despite Town leading 3-1 at one stage. Andy's next goal was another bad omen. He scored first at the MK Dons, but Town went down 2-1. It was a defeat that would prove costly. Better luck though came from a 5-3 home win over Stockport in mid-March. Andy got one as Town won 8 of their last 9 games. 6 days later, Andy got the only goal in a 1-0 win away to Hartlepool. Town were 9 points off the playoffs with 7 games left. A 3-1 home win over Doncaster was Andy's next contribution. Huddersfield up to 8th, Andy up to 9 for the season. But he wasn't quite finished just yet. 13,500 fans saw him get one in a 4-0 home win over Swindon as Town ended just a point shy of the playoff places. And then actually, I think presumably it coincided with you coming back. You had a great spell of nearly 10 games, 8 wins out of 9, something like that. You just missed out in the playoffs.
We did, yeah. Yeah, it was disappointing. The finish was, we couldn't have asked for a better finish, but we knew we were a good team, and we knew there were only a few teams better than us in the league on his day, but we just couldn't perform. We couldn't put 2 halves together. We were very inconsistent, and we knew when we clicked, we'd have a chance at going places. And the only problem was it was just a bit too late. We started in the last 10 games, which I know we missed out on by just a point, but if with the games you look back and we've thrown so many points away, which we should have easily been in the playoffs again.
Right, that's the official line. What's he really like?
Wingnut.
And bad patter.
Boring.
He has a word. We went down to Cardiff and we had a vote on the worst patter in the dressing room, and Andy Boothy won it. He doesn't like that story being mentioned, but he wants the worst patter.
Boring.
Give me 5 words to describe Boothy.
I think you only need one. Boring, probably.
He's deluded.
Tight.
Boring and boring, probably.
What the public won't know, he's the tightest man at the club. Probably one of the richest, but certainly one of the tightest.
And he's not as generous as some people probably will think.
A moaner.
Good looking.
That's terrible.
You can't get too near him because of his breath, you know.
I don't like to say it, but you know, he is probably a bit of a legend here.
And also, you'll know from being from this area yourself, what it must mean to the fans to have someone from almost among them go and do all the things he's done for the club. I mean, that's special to do it for your own town.
It is special, and Boothy now is one of many in my team. I think there's 9 local players come through and playing in the first team at the moment, so he's one of many. But at that stage when Boothy got into the side, there weren't many local players coming through. There were 1 or 2 exceptions, but obviously the fans like a local player to come through, and Boothy's done that and become a soccer legend.
So it's nice. He'll go down in the history of the Huddersfield Town Football Club, and hopefully the people who are watching now, well, you see in the programme from mascot saying the favourite player Andy Boothy, and that's the legacy that he's got really now. He's always going to be well remembered, no matter what happens to him from here on in. He scored 100 goals, which is a fantastic achievement, and he's well loved as well. And being a local boy, it's local boy come good for him.
As a local striking hero, he could have been quite a Billy Big Boots around Huddersfield if he'd chosen to be, but he hasn't.
No, I mean, he's a down-to-earth, level-headed guy, you know, and that's why a lot of people have got a lot of respect for him.
You don't get many people these days playing for their hometown clubs, but he's one of them. Yeah, his heart and soul's in it. His young son was mascot, won the games last year, so that hopefully that will be tradition as well.
If I can have half as good a career as obviously Boothy's had, I'll be more than happy.
Well, he's just so honest. He's honest, one of the most honest professionals I've ever seen. He works very hard. He's the best header of the ball I've ever seen.
And he's the same lad today as he was when I first met him. His feet on the floor. I think that's the beauty. That's why people like him. That's why the crowd love him, because he's the same lad. He's got time for everybody. He has definitely got time for everybody.
I've got to admit, there's been a lot of people in Huddersfield who've been very kind to me, I've got to admit, and I'd like to thank them all for the support.
So let's reconsider the evidence about Boothy. Big ears, short arms, deep pockets, dodgy knees and bad jokes. On the plus side, good in the air, great lad, goal-scoring legend, and of course, a local hero. So stay tuned to find out what happens next in the Andy Boothy story. And next time you're down here and you see him score at the Gal Farm, remember, make sure you sing it loud and you sing it proud. Wing nuts, go on now, wing nuts. Great goal, son.